Don't even know whether the camera's the right way around. Do I give a fuck? No! It's going to be one of those nights tonight. I'm not in the mood for Slava. I'm not in the mood for fuck all. You're getting it between the eyes. Everybody. Russell, I'm a cunt. Brand, do you know he's left the country? Oh, didn't think you knew that. Yeah, Starmer, the cunt. Lammy, the cunt. Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. Bitch, bitch. Sorry, cold. So I saw a lot of the comments. Oh, can't wait for the big lad. Can't wait for the irreverent reverend to start tonight. I'm sure he's got an opinion. Have a bollocks. Tell you where I am with everything. A right-wing newspaper. Oh, we'll get to the fucking comments in a minute, man. Stop whining on like a bitch. See this bunch of cunts. They're called the Mail on Sunday, the Daily Mail, right-wing fucking newspaper. They've been bought off. USA, they're probably getting advertising from the government. You know, Starmer the cunt. Yes, him, Starmer the cunt. Probably buying the advertising in the Mail. So now the Mail is saying, stop the state visit for bully Trump. The only reason why Zelensky was meeting the king today was because somebody said, Charlie, that way. What a bunch of... And if you don't like my language, fuck off. I've had enough of your ignorance. I've had enough of everybody. Nobody can see through this. I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm reading the newspapers and I'm fucking losing it. All these wannabes on fucking YouTube wouldn't know if it stood up and bit their tits off. Oh, by the way, have you forgotten about Michelle Mone? I think you might have done. Have you forgotten about the BBC? And 400 grand worth of taxpayers' money for fucking Gazans. Oh, I think you might have done. I'm sitting here watching the world thinking I'm losing me fucking mind. Nobody ever... Look, I'll tell you, the press, I wouldn't wipe my arse with it. The mainstream media, the fucking daily newspapers, wouldn't wipe my arse. Why? I'll fucking tell you. Because they're lying. And all the politicians have been telling you for nearly 2 years. Ben Gurion Canal, oil and gas, out of the Gaza Strip, under the East Mediterranean Sea. I've been telling you about the oil and the gas under the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea and under Crimea. And now they're all pissing in the wind because Putin's got the oil and the gas. And everybody thinks, well, oh, hang on a second. Yeah, what about the minerals? Fuck off! It's not about the minerals in UK, you thick twat! It's about energy independence. It's about the oil and the gas. It's about the massive, no idea how big these military bases are underground in Ukraine. They're not telling you about the dozens of American bioweapon labs in Ukraine. It's not about the fucking minerals. It's not about Trump being a bully. He was already on the phone to Vladimir going, I think it worked. You're buying into the fucking lies, man. Did you not watch Gaylord Macron with, well, he didn't take his mister over to meet Donald, did they? No, I can't get my fucking words out. I'll tell you for why. Because you've got two heterosexuals sitting at the top of the food chain in America, J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. What are they doing looking at the Gaylords, Macron and Starmer and Zelensky? Zelensky seemingly rumoured to have done a gay porn video. I mean, all of these people, and Trudeau is in this country, Canadian. I thought he'd fucked off. I thought somebody had told him, I think, well, your dad was all right, but you, fucking Gaylord, off you go. They're all being manipulated. That's why they're in power, because they can be controlled. They can't control the Donald. He's not even taking his presidential wage. He's a heterosexual man. And the Donald likes a woman that likes power, that has power in herself. J.D. Vance is exactly the same. So two heterosexual men taking on the Gaylords on Wednesday, then Thursday, then Friday. I'm surprised they didn't fucking top themselves. They know that they're being controlled. That is Macron, Starmer, Zelensky. Have you seen that fucker dance? I'm a straight man and I can't do that. And now I'm sitting here after watching that cunt, that grade A evil cunt called Starmer that's sitting atop of it all. He wants World War III. Why? Because all the politicians now do not have the pot of money from US aid to be able to go, well, $1 million for you, $1 million for me, $1 million for you, $1 million for me. I've been telling you for months, 2 years. It's all corrupt. Do not think that these politicians that are being controlled by the puppet masters in the shadows, do not think that these people are sitting there making decisions for the greater good of you and I. They are going to send your children and your children's children, your grandchildren, everybody from your fucking family. They're putting boots on the ground in Ukraine. Why would they do that? We've got NATO because Putin's warned them. You stick NATO anywhere near Russia, I'm going to fucking nuke you. And there's Starmer going, oh, it's all right, you're not nuke London. Yet. He's never on the ground long enough, that arse of a man, to know what possibly London getting nuked means. He'll just say to that, I can't even say his name. I think he's evil. Fred says, come back, Rishi Sunak, all is forgiven. They said that about Blair, didn't they? So what we're going to do tonight, you're getting it. You're getting it between the eyes. Because I genuinely believe that this channel has one of the most intelligent audiences that there is on YouTube. Because you can see through all the bullshit. And I don't care about my language. You don't like it, off you go. Bye. Bye. Because your kids are going to get it. Your grandkids are going to get it. And you're saying, oh, I don't really like that Adrian Allen because he says the word cunt. Do you know what a panshite you're in now? Starmer this afternoon. I did make some notes, and then because I keep having to watch this man, this evil entity, stand there addressing the nation. He's addressing the nation on a fucking Sunday, the holy day, not his. His was yesterday, the cunt. His was yesterday, and he fucking misses. And he sits there with heterosexual Trump, and Trump says, how's the missus doing, Kia? And then bigs up his missus. Do you know why? Because the Donald was trolling him. J.D. Vance was trolling him. He was saying, we're going to talk about freedom of speech. And then the little shit stands. Well, I think he was standing, but he was only 2'6" high. Said, yeah, I'm very proud of the free speech in my country. And the whole of this country that was watching that presser just turned round, took a sharp intake of breath and went, what the actual fuck, Kia? The freedom of speech in this country when you can be jailed for 2.5 years for a meme on a social media platform. Fuck off, mate. Fuck off. In my view, he has to be the most evil man I've ever encountered in my life because he will lie barefacedly to the cameras and believe what he's saying. That's evil. Evil. And Trump and Vance were sitting there pissing themselves. I mean, I'm surprised that their incontinence pants didn't explode in the Oval Office. They were wetting themselves so hard. I watched the little shit sit there and the Donald have to turn around to him and say, do you want to say anything? Good, fuck off. And then he was jumping in, trying to get a word in edgeways. They were laughing at him. He's a joke on the world stage. Everybody knew when Trump said, how's the missus doing, Kia? And Kia, and he said, oh, she's a fantastic woman. Yeah, beautiful woman, powerful woman. And Starmer had to jump in and say, I agree. What was he agreeing with? Is she round at Lord Ali's flat? Perchance. Starmer is being protected. Why is he being protected? Because the money that I've been telling you about that they can't get access to anymore has gone. And these politicians are not interested in you, me, or anybody else. There's Rachel from accounts, from fucking complaints. She's now decided that we're going to give another £2.6 billion to Ukraine today because Zelensky was looking for Charlie. Maybe he didn't have any cash on him. Sniffy fucking Zelensky. He's coked off his face, that boy. Did you see how many times he touched his nose and sniffed when he was with the Donald in the White House? Honestly. And I thought ketamine was bad and all the rage. It's perception versus reality. The sheeple are buying. Now, I'm now begrudging spending money on buying the newspapers to be able to reiterate to you facts. This. Can you see that? That's how to treat a war hero? What the actual fuck? How to treat a war hero? He's a money laundering service. He's taking taxpayers' money, laundering it. And the corrupt politicians are trousering tens of millions of dollars and pounds. When Cockite was in the number 10, first thing he did, got pigfucker Cameron to go round the world, cap in hand. I can tell you this, I am so angry. I literally could bang my head against a brick wall and I wouldn't feel it. I'm literally researching these lives 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I've had enough of being ball deep in this shite. Because I sat there watching that fucking toad of a man. President of France. Oh, fuck off, man. Agincourt, fuck you. I've still got me bowing fingers. That's what it means. Agincourt salute. The French have got no fucking backbone. I could send a car of my family over and take France in a couple of hours. Fight as my hairy arse. Have you seen his missus? Fucking hell, does he like ugly birds or something? What am I talking about? Emile Macron. Shags blokes. And Starmer. What a fucking joke. On the world stage, in front of the world's media, the Americans didn't want to ask him a question. Didn't want to know. Because they know he's insignificant. He's in the Oval Office, the White House, with the most powerful man and men in the world, the leader of the Western world. Don't be that stupid and naive. He picked up the phone to Vladimir Putin. Hello, big lad, I'm back in the office. What should we do? What should we carve up first? Should we have World War III? Shall we play a game? So, Rebel, I'm telling you, Candice Owen, they've not stopped her. Candice Owen, she's laying it all out flat, and Emile Macron is doing nothing about it. You know why they're doing nothing about it? Because it's the fucking truth. Chris, actually hits the nail on the head, and I was going to make this as a point. So tonight I'm just freestyling this. We're doing it differently. We're doing it the way it needs to be done. We're doing it the way that sometimes a hard truth needs to be told, irrespective of whether I'm potty-mouthed or whether I'm angry, or the truth needs to be told. And Chris says, feel the pain, Adrian, just can't believe how many people have been taken in by this COVID propaganda revisited. That is exactly it. You were taken in 5 years ago. So I'll just make this point to you. 5 years ago, in March, you were told 95% effective, the jibber jabber. Remember, the good old days. 95% effective. It wasn't 95% effective. Wasn't even 90%. Wasn't even 85. Should we go lower, sir? Should we go lower? Higher, lower, as Brucey would say on a TV show once. Higher or lower? Much fucking lower, Brucey. We couldn't even get to 50%. And now we find out that people are getting turbo cancers. And it's been directly attributed to ailments that are killing people. The jibber jabber is directly being attributed to killing people. But remember the good old days. 5 years ago, you were told it was 95% effective, and you took the bait. It was money laundering on such a massive scale that nobody could comprehend it. And why do I say it was money laundering? Because what was happening was that governments were buying this shit and then sticking it in their people, the taxpayers, whose working money they were actually using to make them take the jibber jabber. And then we've now got all this shit flying about and people dying left, right and centre, and turbo cancers appearing left, right and centre, and myocarditis and pericarditis and heart attacks, and professional sports people who are the fittest people on the planet keeling over in a football tournament. They think we're as thick as pig shit. No. And you get the little man in his platform boots standing there going, we're standing with Ukraine. Stand there as much as you want, you twat. We're not behind you, and you dare start sending our kids for boots on the ground. Now the people in the army that might have to go to a war and fight, because a lot of people are nervous about World War III today. Boots on the ground, eh, Sakia? Is your son going? Because your son's old enough to be in the army. So what we'll do as a nation, we'll take one step back and go, Kia, mate, send your son first, and then we'll follow him. If you don't send him, we're not going. Do you understand what we're saying to you, mate? Your daughter's not far away. Give her another couple of years. We'll send her to the front, because the women can go to the front as well. So your son and daughter, send your missus. She can go fighting in Gaza. And if they don't go, we're not either. I'm sick of these politicians standing there and lying. They're talking about a 22 billion black hole. My hairy backside. Foxtrot Oscar, because we know you're lying, Kia. We know that the Labour government are lying. How the hell have we still got them in power 8 months in? Have we got to wait another 4 and a bit years? Have we? Bollocks. They've decided to be corrupt. Take the money, take the clothes, take the glasses, take the freebies, take anything that they can get their grubby, corrupt mitts on, and then stand there telling you one other thing. Have you noticed how Ginger Growler's not around anywhere? They'll think I'm coming. Fucking right. Every time she opens her mouth. Needs it filling. Well, with Adrian Savaloy. As Soul Rebel says, every single week we're getting news flashes of another athlete that's keeled over or died. Have you noticed how I'm hearing of singers that are dying unnaturally early in their 50s and 60s, and people are saying, awful. Awful. Of course it is. Anybody dying is awful. Anybody dying early is even worse. Literally, I struggled for the 2 hours leading up to this live, because every single day I'm watching the shit hit the fan, and these corrupt politicians just styling it out. Do you like me suit? I had it bought from Lord Ali. I'm not going to tell you what I had to do to get it. An Ursula von der Leyen bitch. She's out saying, we've got to consider the worst case scenario. What the actual fuck? They don't care. They literally, because they're not going to put their own kids there. No, don't be silly. Yours are cannon fodder. And your grandkids, cannon fodder. They don't care. They'd send you if they could. And nobody listens. Nobody. YouTube is full of bullshitters talking bullshit. They're not brave enough to tell the truth because they don't know how to. They couldn't lie straight in bed, most of these fuckers making videos. Clicks and likes, clicks and likes. It's like a Black Mirror episode. Yeah, that one. Starmer loved Battenberg cake, the old Bovril, only if it's shoved up his arse. Oh, sorry, did I say that out loud? You couldn't see my lips move. So what I have in my possession tonight is... so I watched all the presses. All of them. Loved the Zelensky presser. Kathy Harper says, Starmer, the idiot, clown. You can send all of his illegals to fight. There were 500 arrived today. Are they coming by ferry? I was told 600. They first calculated that there might be 800. Now, you have to understand, this is how they come across. Forget the dinghies. This is why and how they wait to look at the weather forecast. And if the channel is calm, woof, they're all over. If it's a bit choppy, we'll think about it. If it's more than choppy, they wouldn't even swim the fucker. Hang on, where's Debbie? Debbie 75. I have 5 kids, including 4 boys. They can foxtrot Oscar. I'm with Trump. Debbie, I'm not going to labour the point, but I will do it this way. When Keir Starmer sends his own son to a war that he feels so passionate about, and into a country that seemingly is at war, but I'm telling you, hasn't been at war for months. When he sends his son, 17-year-old, they don't allow much information out onto social media, but it's on Wikipedia, so it must be right. Now, exactly which year he had his son, which year, according to Wikipedia, when he got married, 2004, when he had the son a couple of years later, and the daughter a couple of years later still. So his son's 17 years old. He can go in the army. Can't go in as an officer. Oh, he's a grunt. Oh, he's cannon fodder. Brilliant. Keir, mate, get your son to war. First one, get the uniform, get the AK-47 and fuck him off out of Ukraine. So we can all take a step back and go, do you know what? That's Sir Keir Starmer. He's a man of his word. He's a man of his conviction. He's got conviction that he wants to stand with and support Ukraine by sending his son to war. It's a bit like Charles Linton, you know, the one that got done, Bow Street's magistrates for doing things with other blokes. Yeah, him. Can you remember the MMR vaccine? When it's 3-in-1. Except when you're Tony Blair and you can go over to France and get them in separate inoculations, because that's what he did with Leo. Brilliant, Tony! Brilliant! Because I'm not so fucking thick. I keep my eyes open, my ears open, and everything open, including my legs on certain opportunities. But I keep my eyes and ears open for everything so that when the corrupt politicians do something that they don't want their own children to do, so that you have to have MMR vaccines, but his kids doesn't. And Sir Keir Starmer, he's never sending his son to Ukraine in a month of bloody Sundays. And he'd only send it on a Sunday because Shabbat's on a fucking Saturday. That's why he finishes early on a Friday. But on the holy day, my holy day, he does things that I don't agree with, so he can fuck off. Getting Justin Trudeau over to here. Why? Oh, Commonwealth. So, if it's not the NATO, it's going to be the fucking Commonwealth. Tate brothers fucking off from Romania. You know why that is, don't you? Because the Americans are not happy with the president of Romania. They want to rerun the elections again because the wrong person got in. So the Tates, being half American, because the father was American, they fucked off to America. There's loads of shit flying in the world. I've already told you, Russell Brand. Russell Brand is being sued, according to the Sun today, Sun on Sunday. So he's being sued. But he's fecked off to Florida with his missus and his family. Oh, remember, I watched him do a video with Bonnie Blue. Oh, getting a twitch on there, Russell. Blimey, there's a slut in front of you. Getting a twitch on, you being a holy man and everything. He turned round to Bonnie Blue and said, I'm glad you've come here because I'm a man of God. Fucking hell, Jimmy Swaggart was a man of God. He was doing tons. He was doing lorry loads of Charlie and he was shagging hooers. I mean, which version of a man of God are you, Russell, mate? In my view. Christian, my hairy backside. Oh, I've had a dunking. I'm sure I call it a teabagging. You might call it as something else. $1854, bloody hell, Des. Last time we took on the Russians in Crimea. Putin is sitting there, pissing himself laughing at the intellectual pygmies because it's just down to money. That's all it is. It's just down to money. They're not interested in the common good, the greater good of anyone or anybody anywhere. They're not. They just wanted the power. They got the power and went, oh, blimey. Right, what do we do first? Get some freebie clothes. Yeah, who do we get some freebie clothes from? Billionaire, which one's first? Oh yeah, do you want the keys to number 10? Why would Lord Ali need the keys to number 10? Well, that's where Sakia lives. Do you not know, Prime Minister, number 10 Downing Street? The missus is not there, the missus is elsewhere. So why would Lord Ali want to be in number 10 Downing Street with Sakia, two-tier, free gear, queerers, folk, Kia? Cuban Pete says, there is no way on earth will Starmer's son join up or be expected to, along with all the other MPs' kids. I know they're corrupt. They're corrupt fuckers. They're only interested in the Benjamins, the greenbacks, the moolah. They're not interested in anything else. Why do you think Sir Keir Starmer, he's never been this happy since he bent over in front of Lord Ali and got a bit of a twitch on? In my view. Oh, Paris in the Philippines, not been here for a while. Angela Rayner's Sproggs are also of conscription age. Brilliant. Get them all in. Get them all signed up. We'll have the press gangs. Let's get them in. Let's get them into the Royal Navy. All rum, bum and backy. Let's get them in there. Let's get them over to Ukraine. I mean, we're all agreeing with Sakia. Sakia, we'll stand with you. You're standing with Ukraine and all the billions that have been laundered. Do you know how much Joe Biden, well, his family, do you know how much Joe Biden kickbacks out of Ukraine? Do you know how much he got? $92 million. That's just the kickbacks. So where's the money gone? Well, I don't know. I don't know, Your Honour. I don't know. I don't speak English. I know nothing. I'm from Barcelona. I know nothing. Nancy Pelosi, Jesus, Nancy, just tell us which shares you're buying shares in and how much. Because she's made hundreds of millions of dollars and we're sitting here going, will we make it to the next payday? Tonight I'm going to lay Michelle Mone flat. I'm going to lay Russell Brand face down. He's been baptized, don't you know? So he's a man of God. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. You go to the fucking Catholic Church, you've got to give him money. Oh, by the way, Pope's dead. This is how it works. They don't want weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, because that's what goes on in the Bible. They don't want weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth. They don't want people to go, oh my God, the Pope's dead. Oh no, there's hundreds of millions of us. What are we going to do? Shall we all run like lemmings and chuck ourselves off a cliff? No, it's just the fucking Pope, man. King paedophile. He's just fucking carked it. Oh, Adrian, you can't be that disrespectful. Disrespectful to who? Who decided he was God's right-hand man? Because we know what your right hand's for, don't we? Unless you're left-handed, of course. Wank with both hands. Ambidextrous. Cuban Pete says, and if we plebs say out about their kids having to go as well, we'll get locked up for 2 years. They're taking the piss. Oh, absolutely, Cuban Pete. Absolutely. It's one rule for them and one rule for us. And the rule for us doesn't treat us very nicely. So the BBC's been caught funneling £400,000 of licence fee money into a propaganda documentary fronted by none other than the son of a senior Hamas official. Brilliant! They're anti-Semites, the BBC. Brilliant! I've told you about the time in York when I wanted to go and take a couple of hundred of them on, myself. And you, Mrs. Allen, had to go, no, Adrian, come on. Ah, fuck off! They were calling Trump a racist. And I was like, hang on, at the front with all the placards waving in York somewhere near Millett or one of the outdoor centres. I was dragged off into one of the shops by the missus. And I said to them, you can't call anybody else a fucking racist. You're a bunch of fucking anti-Semites. So you're racist, you're fucking racist. The cops who were standing there monitoring the march were like, oh, it's kicking off. Hang on, how many of them are there? Just the fat lad, the fat ginger lad. One against all these. Fair odds. We martial artists laugh because everybody thinks you fight like a Hollywood movie. Fuck off. Oh yes, Soul Rebel, all Oscar bullshit and virtue signalling tonight. I can't even say it. Yeah, we will get to that in a moment. But I'm not even calming down now. It's like I've popped the cork. It's like I can't. So we need to, me and you, and I'm looking at the chat. Soul Rebel, looking at the chat. We need to work through this methodically. And as I say, I watched all the presses this week, and it's like when, I can't remember, I was watching a presser on a Monday, and by the time I thought, oh, Jesus, I might use that for a live on a Wednesday, it had changed in 24 hours, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, man, it's going to change again, and I'm only on Tuesday, and the live's not till Wednesday. I mean, I may need to do a few more lives, but let me tell you, my life is, I'm not earning, well, apart from the very kind people that are supporting these lives, it's soul destroying when you can see through the usual bullshit. And I'm sure these corrupt politicians, because that's what they are, they're just looking at US aid. You are aware that the World Economic Forum was given $32 million as part of US aid. The World Economic Forum, they run it every year, the $4 million Swiss franc profit. And they still get 32 million. What are they using that 32 million for? Buying more food for Keir Starmer, or having ginger growler arrive, or a new limo from Zurich for Boris the Bojo the Clown. So look, Trump has upset some very dark, evil and powerful people and entities. Why? He's just stopped the money. He's just stopped the flow of money. That's why Zelensky's pissed off with him. So let us methodically go through this. We'll go to Macron and his husband in the wig. Because Candace Owen is laying it all out in front of everybody. Emile Macron is shagging a transgender bloke. And there's some dark information in the background to that. So I won't sort of go too much. That's for the French to deal with. But as I've told you, they've got no fucking backbone. Couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Honestly, I've shit out of stuff. Didn't see my lips move. And the reason why I actually came here tonight is, as low as I felt, somebody's got to stand up against these fuckers. They're not going to break me. They're not going to do anything to me. They can't. I don't care if they sent me to prison for 100 years. They will not break me, because I will always use the truth as my shield. I know they're corrupt. I know that they're evil. I know that they have a hidden agenda, 2030, Agenda 2030. I know all that's going on. I know that they're shafting the poor farmers who are going to demonstrate this week. They can't take the tractors. What the actual fuck? Have they not seen Chelsea tractors? Have they not seen those? They're all over bloody London, the Chelsea tractors, because they're taking the fucking kids. They've got like one kid and they need that massive big Chelsea Land Rover thing. And now the farmers, who actually own the tractors, can't even bring them into London because the politicians will be really upset that the farmers are upsetting the people because the politicians are telling them we're gonna fuck you over. You already know. Look, I've told you the answer. I have told you the answer. And the answer today is coming. And I'll tell you and reiterate what I've already told you. Get yourself an allotment. Get yourself some seeds that you can perpetuate time immemorial and keep the food chain going for what you need to put on your plate. Because they're going to shaft the farmers, thereby putting crickets on your plate for you to sit there and go, yum, yum, yum. Fuck off while somebody's noshing on somebody else's cock in Portcullis House. Obviously, they didn't get their portion of meat this week. Deviant fuckers. Let me qualify that. I don't care what you do and to who, so long as it's legal. But what I do care about is you purporting to be straight and then telling the public that you're straight. Because if you have the courage of your convictions, whatever your sexual predilection, just be honest about it. We don't care. We literally don't care. So long as you are loved and happy and safe and secure, because that's all we ask. And if you can give that to yourself, you can give that to us so we can actually live a little happy life without any interference from the corrupt. So it's not about your sexual predilection. It's about your lies. It's lies and subterfuge and the way you do things, because we have an instinct, an innate instinct that tells us that you are not to be trusted, you lying fucker. It's lies everywhere. Look, Starmer is sitting in the Oval Office and J.D. Vance, and I'll reiterate this point in case you were late to the party tonight, J.D. Vance says, yeah, we're going to have lunch and over lunch we'll talk about free speech. Starmer, realising somebody's sticking it up his arse, turns around and says, yeah. I'm really proud of free speech in my country. Literally, I felt the earthquake. I felt it shake. Everybody in this country laughing their caps off. He's a liar. He's a perpetual liar. I'm really proud of free speech in my country. How do we in shite, man? He just says it. Because he's a barrister. Used to be, his dad was a toolmaker. We see evidence of that every day. Sakir. Stuart says, Mr. Starmer, hi, Sat, and Mr. Wobbly, and Brother Ali. John 1 Kenobi. Thanks, Adrian. This needs to be said. I'm surprised more people are not saying it, but they're not because they're scared. They just want clicks and likes. They don't want to have any integrity. They don't want to actually have any passion for this. They don't want to have, they don't have any, as I say, integrity, and they just won't. I literally lose subscribers on a daily basis because at the moment I refuse to put any videos up. And why do I refuse to put any videos up? Because YouTube are blocking my subscriptions. And when I say to you at the end of each live, please check that you are subscribed, because they unsubscribe you without you knowing. And then I'll look at my subscriptions and go, bloody hell, lost some more. But that's how you know I'm not buying me subscriptions like others. I know who they are. Because their subscriptions keep going up and mine go down. That's called integrity. So the reason why I'm not doing as many videos is because I'm putting all of the truth in these lives. So please, please, please make sure that any of your friends that think like you, and I don't want this to become an echo chamber. You're right there, Hayden. And I don't want this to become an echo chamber, but I'm telling you, if there is anybody else saying these truths on YouTube, please let me know. I don't think there is. Not as blatantly, obviously, as me. I have the courage of my convictions. It's not about the money. God, if I take the BBC on and Nottinghamshire Police, I might have multi-millions in my bank account. I mean, I can tell you that... which one do we want to go for first? Right. So we'll go through what's happened over the last week, because I know a lot of people at the beginning of this live were like, oh, can't wait for Adrian. Can't wait to see what he's going to say. Well, I'm going to tell you this. I looked at Macron and his... You know that in Hartlepool, they're called monkey hangers, don't you? People from Hartlepool, monkey hangers. Because back in the First World War, a submarine went down. Not Monica Lewinsky down, but down, offshore. And all hands were lost at sea, except one. And they thought it was a French spy, because they couldn't understand a word it was saying. It was a bloody monkey. So obviously it was a naughty monkey, so they had to give it a spanking. And then they tried it in a court of law in Hartlepool. And because the poor little monkey couldn't speak a word of English, let alone French, they thought it was a French spy, tried it, hung it, and then somebody afterwards went, that's not French, it's a bloody monkey. Hang on, I see you. So you know that I see you. I mean it with all due respect, because it's a wonderful story. I think it's a fantastic story. I'm from Sunderland. I wish we had a story like that. All we had was Peter Reid, monkey seed. Jeff Stelling. Yeah, Jeff Stelling's a monkey hanger. There's a few of them. But so I looked at Emile Macron. And I look at his wife, and I think, Peter Reid with a blonde wig. And I tell you what, if June Slater's watching any of this, I did ask June to come on the channel ages ago. And she said, oh, what kind of channel is it? We don't fuck about, June. So let me tell you about the BBC. Now, it has its knockers. Comedy opening, up to you. Warren Francis. Yo, Rev. Yo, Warren. I see you. I think it's a great story. Yeah, it's fabulous. It is fabulous. I mean, it'll go down time immemorial. We'll talk about the time after the First World War, during the First World War. Mind you, they said it was they thought it was a French submarine. It must have been a French ship, because I don't think they had submarines in the First World War. Certainly didn't have the RAF. I was just... the BBC do certain things well. But it's been taken over by the wokerati. They literally have no clue what it's like for the man and woman on the street. They believe that making the decisions on what's going to go on TV and what's going to go on radio in London and in Manchester applies to the whole country. Does it? Bollocks. In the field says, not a large enough audience for June, I guess. Her loss. Well, you never know. June might just... for a lot of people in social media, I'm a dangerous guy. Because they don't know what I'm going to ask them. I mean, I'll make definitive statements rather than questions to keep them safe. So anybody coming on this channel that I interview, I would interview them proportionately and appropriately. And I'm not in for ritual slaughtering on the channel. But see, I can feel the rage coming again. I know I told it as it was at the beginning. Let me tell you this bit of BBC. We're going to do Michelle Mone. Thieving fecker. In my view. Give us the money back, Michelle, because the PPE was shite, man. Oh, you knew people and could get it made with a 200 million turnover with 30 million profit. That's only 15% profit. That's a shit business. Unless, of course, we haven't seen the books. So I don't want you to get kind of aerated. I'll do that on your behalf. But let me tell you, the BBC's being caught funneling £400,000. If you've had anybody knocking at your door with, hello, have you got a TV licence? Yeah. Well, our records say you don't. Well, my records say I do. Go off. So licence fee money, 400 grand of it, have been funneled into a propaganda documentary fronted by none other than the son of a senior Hamas official. And if that wasn't outrageous enough, one of the cameramen hired for the project was caught celebrating the October 7th Hamas massacre on social media. I've told you, they're anti-Semites. It's not a lapse of judgment, it's a bloody disgrace if you ask me. The documentary, Gaza, How to Survive a War Zone, was pitched as a heart-wrenching glimpse into life under siege. Instead, turns out to be fronted by a 13-year-old whose father happened to be Dr. Ayman Yazouri, a senior figure in Hamas leadership. And let's not forget Hatem Rawag, however you pronounce that. Obviously a good English name. The cameraman who thought it appropriate to cheer on the slaughter of 1,200 Israeli civilians. And the BBC keep trying to bury the story. It's in the papers nearly every day. Another angle, another angle, another angle. Tory leader Kemi Not Good Enough has rightly demanded a full independent inquiry, warning that heads must roll, even if a penny of this cash ended up in terrorist funds. Let me tell you, that woman, Kemi Not Good Enough, is gone as Tory leader. She's finished, gone. It's a matter of time. It's not if, it's when. Why? Well, she'll get a little term because she's not as bad as the lettuce. She, or the turnip for that matter, if she wants to become a football manager, she is doing other people's bidding. So when we get to PMQs every week, she absolutely does not get stuck into his ribs. Now, this coming Wednesday, PMQs, I'm going to watch Kemi Not Good Enough, not actually ask the questions that we all want answered. Is your son going to go to Ukraine, Kia, mate, Prime Minister? And what are you doing about Ukraine and NATO? Because the bad lad in Russia has turned around and said, I'm happy to do a deal. I want peace. I want peace. I just don't want NATO on my doorstep. So if you bring NATO to my doorstep, I'll nuke the fuck out of you. And we've already seen their capabilities, not intercontinental, just a ballistic missile that was travelling at Mach 4 when it went boom. And everybody went, holy shit, what's the Russians doing? They're just sending a shot over the bow of the HMS Ukraine. And America won't get bombed. It's too far. They'll bomb Europe first. That's why all these clowns, Ursula von der Leyen bitch, and Bojo the clown, and Starmer the twat, are sitting there going, hey, what should we do? Oh, Justin Trudeau, come along, sir. What are you doing here? You're from Canada. That's a long way, mate. And I want to ask you this question. Look, I believe that Trump and Vance were set up. Zelensky's nobody's fool, especially when he's on the marching powder. He is no fool. He's laundering hundreds of billions of dollars through Ukraine. All the politicians are getting kickbacks. I mean, the big man, Joe, the Biden, President Poopy Pants, brown trousers, he's had nearly $100 million out of this game and more. So I'm going to ask you this question. They said it was in response to Trump and Vance bullying Little Sniffy. Has he found Charlie yet? He'll be well happy. I hope it's a mountain of it. That'll keep him going for a few hours. Sorry. Cold. My nose is running. Don't know what it is. It must be the time of the year. So you've got Zelensky meeting the Democrats first thing on Friday morning, and then meeting Trump and JD Vance later. And then it all kicks off. And yet, within 36 hours, you've got European leaders converging on Lancaster House in London. Now, let me tell you, these morons, these intellectual pygmies, these clowns, every half hour is looked after by their diary and people that run their diary, because they can't have bloody chaos if you're running a country. You can't. So within 36 hours of a really busy diary, they've got all the European leaders in London. Just explain to me, because I'm a bit dim and a bit thick, how the fuck does that work? Hello, Emil. Yeah, it's Kia. Right, yeah. Do you want to come over to London? I'll give you a cuddle, mate. Cuddle, mate. No tongues, just a cuddle. Hello, Justin. Yeah, it's Kia. Well, I've told Emil no tongues, so same deal to you. No tongues, big hugs. Yeah, Emil's coming over. He said he wants Charlie, so I've said to him I know a few people. Michael Gove for one. So they're all like invited, and then the head of NATO comes out of Lancaster House and goes, no, no, we're not getting involved. No. I'm head of NATO. Fucking hell. Imagine me telling you, yeah, we're going to get involved. London would be nuked before he'd finished the sentence saying, yeah, we're getting involved. Because Putin has said, any NATO, I'm fucking you over. Technical term that we use in radio, translated straight from the Russian. And who was it that started the war? Well, let me tell you, Putin loves Russia. Loves Russia. And what happened? It was when the ethnic cleansing started by the Ukrainians, when the Nazi Ukrainians started. I mean, wait till all of this is over and they go in and start finding all the Nazi stuff. No, the wonder the Russians are upset. They're bloody atheists. And communists. And they've sort of whitewashed the Nazi allegiance within the Ukraine. But the Ukrainians went into the Donbas and stuff and started, hey, can you speak Russian? Aye, right, off you go. So they got all the Russian-speaking Ukrainians out of Russian-speaking Ukraine and told them to get lost. So, and if you don't believe me, do your bloody Googling, do your own research. 3 years ago, my hairy backside. Zelensky, he's only after the greenbacks. Do you know how many properties that man owns? Do you know how much money he's got in his bank account? $1.2 billion. How does that work? 1.2 billion from what? Gay porn. What? $1.2 billion. That's with a B, not an M. B, fucking billion. And America, according to Trump, and I would trust his accuracy more than any of the other corrupt politicians in America, he's saying they've had nearly $350 billion out of them. It would make sense if Zelensky's got 1.2 billion in his bank account. I mean, the missus, they've had to get the Bugatti out of Paris on the QT. Because remember, when it was, I'm getting loads of Louboutins and bags and I'm going to order a $6 million Bugatti. Where do you get that from as president? He's lucky if he's on 200 grand a year. 6 million Bugatti, and Bugatti had to come out and go, no, there's no order here. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not selling them a Bugatti. Really? So today, we'll suspend or we'll blow off, pun intended, Emil Macron. We'll get to Starmer because the mainstream media in this country haven't got 2 IQ points to rub together. Another IQ point, there'd be a fucking fence post. All of them. Now remember, they're all journalists that have been bought off. Journalists are corrupt. because there's somebody sitting above them, bless them, I've been to those parties, there's people sitting above them with the red pen. And unless they write stuff in the way that the owners of the newspapers want it writing, then their stories don't go out. And then they might lose a job, they might lose an expense account. So, and I'm only giving you half of the information that I know. I've told you about the hotel in Eilat, haven't I, with Zelensky? Yeah. I've told you about his property portfolio all over the world. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't know whether, well, there's Sakia. Oh, you know what'll happen now? I wonder if Zelensky will get a key to number 10. Or maybe Zelensky will go round to Lord Ali's flat. Or maybe Zelensky will just put up in Portcullis House somewhere every now and again. Pull up the chair, mate. I'm only here for the Charlie. What, the King? He doesn't know whether he's going to Germany or whether he's going to London or whether he's going to Florida. Now, it wouldn't be Mar-a-Lago, that's for certain. But I'm telling you, let's go back to Starmer, because I want to nail this. There were 3 things that happened on Thursday. 1, are you aware that the White House flew the Union flag upside down? And people were like, oh, it's the Union flag, it's easy to do. No, it is not. Because these people are very well aware of offence. Giving and making offence. And I'm not talking about posts and wood and stuff. I'm talking about flying the Union flag upside down. They did it on purpose. They're coming up to, remember, 2026. Do you know what that is? It's 250 years since they told the king to fuck off. You don't remember the American Civil War? Because the king was wanting more taxes out of the Americans. And the Americans were like, whoa, hang on a second. You want what? No. In the words of that great Chinese philosopher, how do we end shite and you can foxtrot Oscar and take your men with you, because we're not standing for that. 250 years next year. So I'm telling you that the Donald will not be wanting to come and visit the king in 2026 because of the celebrations that are going to go on, the independence celebrations that are going to go on. So it's either going to be they'll arrange it for 2025 and maybe it'll be up in Balmoral where nobody can get anywhere near it. What do you mean, how do I know? I'm not telling you anything, but I know. So it could be up at Balmoral. Nobody will see it. Donald will be in. The Donald, I'll enunciate my words, will be in seeing Charlie. Hello, young Charles, how the bloody devil are you? How's that rogue brother of yours? Is he still shagging? So Starmer, and you know how this works, because Starmer looks at Trump and realises that Trump knows who Starmer is shagging, where he's shagging them, who it is, why it is, how it is, where it is, all of the questions. Trump knows. And if Trump knows, so does J.D. Vance. And they're looking at this insignificant piece of shit, in my view. And he goes, I've got this letter from the king. And you just think, hang on. The royals have their own postal service. How tight is Charles? He couldn't send a butler or somebody or some part of the royal household over to President Trump and say, hey, Donald, hey, man, here's a letter from Charlie. From Charlie. I'm going to go back on Concord. And there is a rumour circulating. There is a rumour circulating. If you look at what happened when Trump took the letter from Starmer, he opened it, looked at it. He said, I better check it for its signature. And then gave it back to Starmer and said, could you read it aloud? And I thought, because I'd just been talking to a dear friend of mine that same day about adult literacy. Now, I'll lay this here for you, but most people will say, yeah, Kathy Harper, good point. It wasn't even sealed, the envelope. Yeah, it could have been Sir Keir. actually forging the king's signature. And Trump says, can you read that aloud? After taking a few seconds to kind of make out that he's reading the letter. Either way, either the Donald can't read, which will be interesting in itself. Adult literacy is a thing nowadays. It really is a big thing nowadays. And a lot of people who, and this is not a judgment at all, because if the Donald can't read and is able to run a multi-billion-dollar empire, what a boy that is. Because those that can't read need to have incredible, insane memories. And he handed the letter to Starmer, so Starmer started reading it. And I just thought, hang on, what's going on there? Is that where the power lies? So Trump will say to Starmer, here, read that for us, you twat. And then J.D. Vance would be like, don't worry, Donald, I'm here, I'll protect you. And then what does he do? That's Starmer. He reads the bugger out. So the power lay with Trump. Because Trump said, here, do us a favour, mate, just read that out to the press. And Starmer went, okay, Donald, yeah, don't worry. Do you want me to touch my toes while I'm doing it? Alan says it should have had the royal seal of approval. I agree with you. So there was just those three things. The Union flag being flown the wrong way, upside down. And it's a Union flag until it's on the jackstaff of a ship or boat. That's when it becomes the Union Jack, not before. And we had J.D. Vance saying to the ensemble press pack, yeah, we're going to talk about free speech over lunch. And almost as if young Keir had something shoved up his arse. He went, oh, yeah, I'm really proud of free speech in my country. And everybody around the world went, what the actual fuck, mate? You're jailing people for memes for 2.5 years. How do we end shite, man? Or somebody, Pete Flynn, somebody that may have shouted at the police, or the roughy-toughy police being offended by hurty words. Man killed himself in jail for how he was treated. That ignorant twat. That's the wise and the simple. And then, I mean, I can cut it up because we are kind of allowed up to a few seconds of it. I might just cut it up and put it. Pete Lynch, thank you. Sorry, the name I mentioned was a dear old friend of mine from radio. Pete Lynch killed himself. And that evil, bullshittery clown had the temerity to sit in the most powerful office in the world, over and above Putin's, in the Oval Office of the White House. And he says, I'm really proud of the free speech in my country. I mean, was he having a bit of a meltdown? Had somebody given him far too strong coffee? Or had somebody said to, yeah, Victoria's buggered off and done some shopping with your credit card? Where is she? Washington, D.C. Oh, bloody hell, have you seen the price of things? Thank you, Phil Levan. And it's the temerity to say that he was proud of the free speech. I will guarantee you that the rest of the front bench of the Labour Party were pissing their knickers. But not as much as me, because do you know what the cameras didn't catch? They did for a millisecond, and you had to be sharp to get it. Have a guess who was also in that office with J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, the President of the United States of America, and that intellectual pygmy that masquerades as a Prime Minister. And you know that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance were well aware of fat lad David Lammy's words that came out of his gob when he was slagging off Donald Trump. Because Lammy was sitting just to the right of Sir Keir Starmer. Can you imagine Donald Trump and J.D. Vance sitting there going, "Oi, who's the fat lad?" "Oh, that's my mate David." "Is that fat lad Lammy? Is that the one that spunked £500,000 on food and booze in the last 4 months in his department?" "Yeah, 125 grand a month on food. Where's your shopping? Fucking Waitrose." He was there. And nobody mentioned that David Lammy was within feet of President Donald Trump, who he'd slagged off mercilessly. And J.D. Vance, I'm surprised J.D. Vance didn't get up and twat him. "How dare you say that about our president? This is America. You're in the Oval Office." Boff! Now that I would have paid good money to see, because Lammy would have crumbled. "Oh, don't hit me. I'll get reparation. I'll ask for trillions in reparation for Jamaica." What would you ask for reparations for Jamaica for? "Well, that's where me family's from." "Not you, you're wrong, and I thought you were born in England." Fuck off. So the two most powerful men in the world were sitting there eyeballing a man that had slagged off mercilessly President Donald Trump. No wonder they were trolling Keir Starmer. He deserved it, to be fair. Yeah, we'll talk about free speech over lunch. "Oh, I'm really proud of free speech in my country." "Oh, and your beautiful, fragrant wife. Please send her my regards." Because they're both heterosexual men. They don't shag blokes. And I've told you before, they only want to have people in power that they can control. And who do I mean by they? World Economic Forum and the puppet masters in the shadows. They want either Manchurian candidates that are working on behalf of other foreign entities, like the Chinese Communist Party, Joe Biden, or they want to be able to say, "Here, Keir, mate, we've got these photographs. You know this visit to America. Do you want to make out that Donald Trump's a bully for us, please?" The Epstein list, the Diddy list, the World Economic Forum, they're all controlling people that are coming up to the power. So once they achieve and attain that power, they have the stuff that they can control you with. Thank you, Dean. Smooth talking bar steward. So that's how it works. They come being the operative, if they've got the photographs, they come up and they then control them. I've explained to you what a Manchurian candidate is. It's an entity of a political party or a country that is working on behalf of another entity or country. So it's Joe Biden, the Manchurian candidate that was taking $92 million out of Ukraine whilst kissing the arse of the Chinese Communist Party. President Ping Pong. "Oh, do you like rimming? Yeah, I love sticking my tongue up people's arses. And then I get Jill to stick a bung up mine because I keep shitting myself." So the politicians need deniability so that you don't find out that they've just trousered nearly $100 million. And that's why they need this slush fund called USAID. It's grown exponentially over the decades. And remember, we loaned our gold bullion to America 2 weeks ago because America seems to have lost some. What do you mean they've lost some? Well, you know Fort Knox? Yes. Can't get in, can't get out. I've had ex-girlfriends like that. And they said, "Hello, lads. Yeah, it's Donald. Don't tell anyone. Tell Cash, as in with a K, not with a C. Tell Cash, I need your gold." "Oh, I say, Donald, why would you need our gold?" "Well, we're trying to get into Fort Knox, and I've got Elon. He's going to walk in with a body cam on so that the American public can go, 'Whoa, what the actual fuck? Where's our gold gone?' Same as the president's brains missing." We might need to get Ocean's 12 on the case. Is George Clooney free? Should we give him a ring? They don't even know where the gold is from Fort Knox, so they're borrowing other people's, and the story's gone a bit quiet, so you won't ever hear about it again. And what'll happen? Bugger me! Oh, back to Zelensky again. Bugger me! There's the gold in Fort Knox. Quick, close the door, and we'll get it back on the plane back over to London. Oh, they won't see, they won't. No, don't be silly. We'll just get it back to London. And so where did the gold go? Don't know. So does nobody sign it over? Does a president sign it over after every presidential term? Oh, no. Don't be silly. It's just there for show. We just use it if we need another Ocean's 13 or Ocean's 14, just so Hollywood can make a few bob. But now that Hollywood is done for with the Diddy list and the Diddy shaggers and the Diddy things that they were doing with kiddies and, baby oil, and J-Lo, can you imagine? Oh, hello, Jennifer. Can anybody smell baby oil? No, it's me perfume. Is it really? Adrian, you can't say that. You really... Honestly, I've said a load of stuff tonight, but I was just about to cross the line where I couldn't. But she likes it big and she likes it a certain colour. Rich says, it's all a shit show. It's not only the US that needs to drain the swamp. Rich, you're hitting the nail on the head, and that's what I'm trying to use as a kind of exclamation point tonight. So that Macron... Oh, I mean, would you shake hands with that entity? No. I mean, have you ever met someone and shook their hand and kind of gone, what the? That handshake was so wet. My hand is ringing. Because there's nothing better than a firm handshake. Or, as I've said to some very wise people before, just grip it a little harder. And then you've got... So you look at Emile. Mrs. Macron is E.T. in a wig. Bloody hell, Paulie. I agree with you, in my view. But, so he's kind of doing this... I mean, was it a Masonic handshake of some kind? He was like... And he was trying to touch his leg, and he was trying to kiss the fecker. That's what he was up to. I've seen him dancing. Oi. That's not a straight man dancing. And... So, Wednesday, I mean, Donald must have been like, here, will somebody give me some of those bloody baby wipes? I've had my hands full of shite. And then Thursday, Starmer, I mean, we don't really need to labour this particular point with that man, but he was just, he was in awe of being in the White House, guaranteed. His dad was a toolmaker. His mother worked in the NHS. So does Victoria, seemingly. That's his wife. Notice how he never calls her Victoria. It's just a wife. Can you not remember? There have been MPs, Tory cabinet MPs, that have lived together as man and wife. Two blokes. This is not a first. None of it's a first. Can you not remember? Michael Portillo seemingly was married to a woman at one point. I won't tell you... So, another name, not connected at all with Michael Portillo, Peter Lilly. Both cabinet ministers, both very good friends. So it's not a first time. This is completely unrelated to what I've just been saying, but it's not a first time the cabinet ministers have lived together as man and wife, two men. And it's not the first time either. If you can work this out, I'm just going to leave this here. There was someone within the Tory cabinet banging somebody else's wife. Now, I'm not talking about John Major and Edwina. I mean, who decided that John Major was attractive? Who decided that Edwina Curry was attractive? Not on my watch. But there was somebody who was on Question Time on the Thursday, then resigned on the Friday, and was in America with her husband on the Saturday. And she'd been banging somebody in the cabinet. I know who the cabinet member was. Can't say it. I'll end up getting my brake pipes cut. Not even going to mention her name. But one cabinet member, female, was banging a male cabinet member and had to get out of the country. That's what power does to you. Doesn't mean they're attractive. It just means they're powerful. No, some people are so attracted to the power. I mean, you would think that there were some cabinet members of a political party or former cabinet members of a political party that had done like nude selfies and sent them to other people. I've seen them as well. It doesn't reach the mainstream. Well, you couldn't particularly post those pictures in the daily newspapers. Why? Because everybody would have them on their phones, and everybody would go, bloody hell, they're naked, because they think they'll never get caught. I've told you my Harvey Procter story, haven't I? About if you've heard this before, then just kind of indulge me before we get on to touch your toe Zelensky. So I was in Richmond in Surrey, and I was with an ex-girlfriend, and she wanted to get some alterations for some clothes for her grandfather. And she went, oh, come on, come with me, come shopping with me. And I was like, oh, woman, I bloody hate shopping, man. I'm just, I'm from Sunderland. I'm a knuckle dragger. I drink beer, I eat curry, and I don't like bloody shopping. I don't even like food shopping, let alone bloody clothes shopping. Oh, come with me, man. I just need you to carry me bags and stuff. And I was like, oh. Paulie Galtieri, yeah, the shirt lifter in the shirt shop. He wasn't thieving them. So, good out, Paulie. And so we walk in, and like Mr. Ben in his shop, this guy came out of between the curtains at the back. Fuck me, it's Harvey Procter. So I'm kind of giving it a tug. How are you, man? I was giving it a tug on her coat, and she could feel me having a tug, and she says, what's going on with you? I was like, well, go and stand outside. I was like, fucking hell, it's Harvey Procter, man. It's Harvey Procter. So we get outside, and she goes, what the bloody hell was that for? I said, did you not see who that was? And she went, no. I said, it was Harvey Procter. And she went, who? Harvey Procter, the Tory cabinet minister that spanked rent boys with a table tennis bat. How the bloody hell do you know that? Oh, there's all kinds of shite in my head, man. I just read it and retain it. And she says, so she said, all right, okay, then I've got this sorted. I'll come back. I said, I'm not coming with you. I'm not standing in that shop with Harvey Procter again. Bloody hell, man. I nearly shit myself. Back to Joe Biden again. So, we left it, and it must have been a few years. And a dear friend of mine, she said, oh, should we go out for the day somewhere? I said, yeah, there's this place called Beaver Castle. I love Beaver, me. I said to her, it's called Belvoir. It's spelt Belvoir. It's not, man, it's pronounced Beaver. Let's go to Beaver Castle. I love Beaver, me. And she said, well, it's not a very nice day. I said, even better, I love wet beaver, me. So we go to Belvoir Castle. And we kind of park the car and we walk up. And it is very impressive. It's mightily impressive. It's been around since, I think, the Crusader days. And we go to the gate where you buy the tickets and you go in. And literally, as we walked into the gatehouse, I saw him there again. Fuck me, it's Harvey Procter. And my friend went, what? And I said, fuck me, it's Harvey Procter. And she was like, what the hell are you talking about? I said, I'll tell you the story later. But this is the second time in my life I've walked into a building and fuck me, Harvey Procter's there. Who is Harvey Procter? He spanked rent boys with table tennis bats. What? Where did you learn that? I said, oh, it's in here, man. I have no idea why I've just told you that story. I'm sure there was some relevance somewhere. But, yeah, somebody's just said, smash the like, you wrong, Jesus. So, let's get to touchy toe Zelensky. I mean, maybe if he needs a new job, then he, like my rag and bone man on my council estate. The rag and bone man, used to come round my council estate, and every time he gave him some clothes or something, he would put on his horse-drawn cart. That's how old I am. He would give you some pegs. So I've got a job for Zelensky. If he wants to make the pegs for the rag and bone man on my council estate, he could be pegging Zelensky. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. So maybe the embarrassment of these political leaders is they can say, well, someone can ask them, are you into rimming, sir? That's where I was going to go to with Harvey Procter. Are you into rimming, sir? Well, I do have one of their shavers, the rimming. Is it rimming or is it Remington? I think it's probably rimming shavers. Yes, I have one of those. Brilliant, exactly that. Frozen beaver at the Morgan. It's a bit hard for me at my age. So it's almost as if they're not only kissing arse. I mean, how far up the Trump's derriere can they get? So, have you noticed? So we've done with Starmer. We've had enough of bashing him. He's not a bishop. So, and we've done with Macron. Let's get on to Zelensky. So, within 36 hours of the embarrassment of Zelensky storming out, your ocean might not be so large if, what the bloody hell are you talking about? It's English, man. Have you been on the sniff before you've met Trump? I mean, I know you might be tired from coming across from Ukraine. And why are you wearing those bloody fatigues? Why are you wearing that stupid outfit? Oh, because you're an actor and you're just wearing what actors wear if they're a president at war. Seemingly, Putin was at war with Ukraine. He wore a suit every time. So, Volodymyr Zelensky, stick your tongue up President Donald J. Trump's derriere. No, wait till you find the sea, not the sea, in between here and my country. What the bloody hell are you talking about? You've been on the sniff. Again, that's twice I've had to ask you, and you've not even answered the question. Stuart says he was wearing the same clothes when he went to meet Starmer. Yeah, but the time he went to the World Economic Forum, because he's been there, he's been to Davos, when he met Klaus the Schwab in Davos for the World Economic Forum. Oh, fan my brow. He was wearing a suit and tie. Why would you do that, you twat? Oh, I'm just playing a part. So all the EU and UK supporting Zelensky. I received this email today, and I'm going to keep it anonymous, but I do thank the sender who knows who they are, because this is just brilliant. Listen to what this emailer has to say. And I trust this emailer with my life. I know that they know what they're talking about. So all the EU and UK supporting Zelensky, saying he was bullied. Oh, mummy. Oh, Emil and Kia. Can I have tongues? He's been saying, oh, I was bullied. I was, fuck me, a war hero. I've been bullied. Mate, come and stay with me in Sunderland. You'll soon find out. You can bring a few battalions with you to Sunderland, because they would kick the shit out of you in Sunderland for having the temerity to be cheeky. Anyway, I've been bullied. Please, no, I've been bullied. It'll be on bloody South Park next. In the words of the great Chinese philosopher, what a load of bollocks. Not many people will watch the whole 50-minute video to see how Zelensky tried to maneuver Trump and Vance and got slapped down rightly. Now, we know that it was a bit of a heated argument that broke out between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Straight Man Zelensky and Vice President J.D. Vance. The confrontation occurred before a deal was supposed to be made between Ukraine and the United States, in which Ukraine would give the US critical minerals in exchange for some money, moolah, Benjamins. But you know something? It's not about the fucking minerals. Please. That's what the mainstream are telling you. It's about the huge, humongous, massive military bases underground in Ukraine, and also, and this will come out because it was under Obama and Biden's watch, there are a couple of dozen biochemical warfare laboratories funded by US aid, funded by the Americans, and the Donald has pulled the funding. They're setting up, let's have a think. Should we get a jibber jabber out? Because there might be a V for Vendetta coming soon. I was told 24 or 25 labs. Biochemical weaponry labs funded by the Americans in Ukraine. You won't read that anywhere else. You won't get that anywhere else. And I would be surprised if this bloody live's not taken down either. Nobody's supposed to tell you that because that's the truth. No, don't be silly. You're just sheeple. You're just taking in one ear, taking it out of the other. We're back to fucking Starmer and Zelensky again. It's in one ear and out the other. It's the truth. Because that evidence will come out maybe 6 months or so, maybe before Trump finishes his second term. And Zelensky talked about how many times the Russians broke ceasefire agreements, but failed to mention how many times Ukraine had done the same. So, in summary, in the Donetsk region, between the evenings of 18th and 20th of February, they recorded 2,158 ceasefire violations. This is the Ukrainians. I told you about trying to eviscerate all the Russian speakers in Ukraine, including 1,100 explosions. And in the previous reporting period, it recorded 591 ceasefire violations in the region. Because Zelensky is a dictator. He's evil. He's all about the Benjamins. Or you can have a kickback. How many billions are you going to give us? How many billions do you need? Well, you know how expensive hotels are in Israel and in Eilat? No. So if the Ukrainians weren't breaking the agreements, why did that happen? So context. Zelensky had been elected on an anti-war ticket. He went to the front in 2019 where he got his first uniform and ordered the Azov battalion to stand down and stop shelling Donetsk and Luhansk, but was told in no uncertain terms to fuck off back to his office or he would be ended. So, he fucked off. On returning to his office a few hours later, he gave official orders for the shelling to continue. This is Zelensky. In those few hours, someone had had a word in his shell-like, pun intended, and told him, start cleansing. Shortly after, he reiterated about Russian not to be spoken within the borders of Ukraine. Told you. People will say he wasn't intending to ethnically cleanse the Russian speakers from Ukraine. This appears, some evidence that I will possibly put in a different video. So naturally, our globalist leaders know the shortfall of money supporting Ukraine will have to be made up. Now that the US has, to all intents and purposes, cut off funding. So they've all come out in support of Ukraine and Zelensky. I've told you, they're corrupt. They're all corrupt. Don't see them on the telly and go, oh, isn't that Sir Keir Starmer? Isn't he wonderful? Incidentally, everyone criticising Trump for claiming $350 billion to Ukraine when Congress has only authorised about $120 billion. Where's the difference between $120 billion that Congress has authorised and Trump and the $350 billion? Well, non-congressional authorised funding to Ukraine by both the State Department and the intelligence communities, for secret labs and bases. Something even Trump won't mouth off about just yet. Yet being the operative word. So when you've got Sir Keir, how can you tell when he's lying? His bloody lips move. when Rachel from accounts turns around and goes, here, Kia, how much do you need? So how much are we giving the waspy women? Oh, we're giving them bugger all. Oh, okay. How much are we giving the pensioners for the winter fuel allowance that would only cost us like $1.5 billion? Bugger all. Right, so can I give $2.5 billion to the Ukrainians for now? New helmets. Maybe they want to just lie in ditches and polish their helmets. I don't know, but let's give them $2.5 billion. When the waspy women got fuck all and the pensioners, the winter fuel allowance, got absolutely fuck all. I mean, how many other communities within this sceptred isle? This government, all they do is they give money outwards, because if they give it to foreign countries and foreign organisations and foreign communities, they'll get a kickback. But if you give it to somebody in this country, they won't see a bloody penny. Do you get the grift now? So if you watch the whole video of the Oval Office meeting, you can see it was young Sniffy doing the manoeuvring. If peace breaks out and Ukraine isn't back to its pre-2014 borders, he knows, that's Sniffy, that he ain't getting to retire in London, Florida, the south of France, or anywhere else. He will get capped. Not in an Epstein kind of way, but he will be ended by the Banderites in Kiev. If that does happen, the whole Western narrative about no Nazis in Ukraine is exposed for the crock of shite that it is. Besides, the deal is pretty bad for Ukraine, with the US taking half of all proceeds from Ukrainian resources until they have paid the US $500 billion. I'll just pause this particular email because I will tell you this. So the deal was that America would take minerals out of Ukraine up to the value of $500 billion. So you know what's coming now, don't you? Correct. What will happen is Zelensky will go back with somebody else's tail between his legs and go, Donald, I didn't mean what I said. I was just joking. And President Trump will say, me too, Volodymyr. Me too. Ah, good. So, the deal. And then Trump will go, oh, you misunderstand me, Volodymyr. I was joking about the deal. It was up to 500 billion. I think we'll make it 750 now. Won't we, Volodymyr? Or should we make it 1 trillion? That's the deal on the table today. Not the deal that you walked away from on Friday. Look, I had Melania make a lovely lasagna for you and you buggered off in some high-powered vehicle. I mean, I had to explain my way out with Melania saying, well, maybe he's a vegan. Maybe he don't like lasagna. I mean, he's just... Donald, you're not getting any tonight. Oh, you sure, Melania? Yeah, you can have lasagna instead. You can have his portion. So, the deal that was on the table on Friday, it's not on the table anymore. Zelensky's gone and that. And the Donald is all about the deal. Right, you're wrong. And sit down. So, 750 in the bag of Charlie. So, should we call it 1 trillion? So the Kiev, sorry, I can't call it Kiev. Because it was only when it started in this war that it suddenly become Kiev. It's bloody Kiev, man. As in chicken. So the Kiev Independent has obtained from a source in the Ukrainian government the full text of the mineral deal between US and Ukraine and is publishing the text in full. I've just told you. That deal's not on the table anymore. Zelensky tells BBC he is ready to sign US minerals deal days after failing to do so on White House visit. That's an alert, a BBC alert that's just come on my phone. What did I just tell you? Fuck me, I should try and get the bloody lottery numbers for next weekend. So he's gone back. BBC reporting it. Zelensky's gone back. Hello, Donald. Oh, you say 500 bill. Vladimir. Fuck off. It's now 750. In fact, you can go off twice. You and your Bugatti-owning wife. It's 1 trillion. And oh, by the way, we get all the oil and gas under Ukraine, the Black Sea and Crimea for nout. And we have all the military bases. Thank you very much. And the biolabs, yeah, we're going to defund those. We've got to have those hidden. So if, obviously, Zelensky's had a really bad come down since Friday. Oh, he's been up in a, and his knickers up in a bunch, like Bart Simpson. And he's disappointed that when he was told they were directing him towards Charlie, you know what he was thinking? He's having a bad come down today, thinking, oh, fucking hell. What was I drinking on Friday, man? Well, Mr. President, you weren't just drinking, you were, on marching powder. Oh, bloody hell, man, why didn't you stop me? So I was drinking and on the marching powder, and the marching powder makes you drink more. I like cider. Cider makes me fart. When I farts, I's happy. When I's happy, I works harder. When I works harder, I drinks more. I like cider. Cider makes me fart. Roughly translated from the Ukrainian, of course. So Zelensky is sitting there today going, oh, lads, man, wait till the missus find out that I'm a Bugatti down and Louboutins and handbags out of Paris. Oh, Jesus, how are we going to rectify this? Oh, Mr. President, just call him or send him a text or send somebody around him because he can't read. So he's gone back with his tails between his legs, and as predicted, the Donald will tell him, no, that's not the deal anymore. You pissed that one off the table on Friday. You shouldn't have had that last lager or that last Jaeger bomb. I'm telling you, those Jaeger bombs will be the ruin of you. Stuart. So now our leader, Sir Queer, and his mates, that's Queer as Folk, Starmer, and his mates in Europe under Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. I love that, love that. Have some serious thinking and bullshitting to do. If they go to provide troops in Ukraine with no NATO mandate, and rest assured, the US will veto NATO troops there, they can use Article 5 to deter Russia. Let me just tell you, do you know how much money NATO gets from all these different countries? 70% of it is from America, and America's cut the funding to NATO. So they've lost 70-odd, I think it's 72, 75% of its funding from America. So they've only got about 25% funding left. NATO, it's buggered. Oh, we're back to Zelensky again. Andrew Crisp. Andrew, are you sure you're a first timer tonight? He says, I prefer my whiskey Glenfiddich. It's my favourite. Me too. But Stuart keeps me supplied with Jaeger bombs in me tea. So what will happen is that they will just end up with more troops sent home in body bags. So, look, if NATO go anywhere near Russia, Russia's just going to go, press the button, boom! How many nukes is that? 1, President. Oh, send them another one. Boom! How many intercontinental ballistic missiles should we fire? Oh, give them half a dozen. Boom, boom, boom. They fly in at Mach 4. They're never going to go. The closest they'll get is, what the fuck? Boom. They don't even hear them. And as this writer of this email says, as I said before, Adrian, Your Reverence, Putin will continue the war slowly, grinding the Ukrainian army down, and will take a reasonable area of Ukraine to use as a buffer zone against attacks against the Donbass region. He will probably take up the top of the Moldovan area, known as Transnistria. Oh, we're back to Macron's wife again. Through Cherkasy and onto Sumy. Why? Well, if he reaches Cherkasy, his longer-range artillery pieces and battlefield drones can hit Kiev at any time they want. So Zelensky's gone home full of piss and vinegar and Coke Zero. And his lads have gone, oh, man, Vladimir, what the bloody hell you done? You're supposed to sign that. How many beers and bags did you have before you went into the Oval Office? I don't know. I can't remember. Shall we have a dance? You can't make this shit up. So you think that they're presidents and they act impeccably and they know what they're doing? Not if you're on marching powder and you're shitted on alcohol, mate. Because it's like once you get in, Zach and Ollie, Hearing you swear, Reverend, makes me smile. I could never have imagined you swearing back in the Red Rose days. Fuck me. Of course, I jest. Hang on, let me just get rid of that because it's literally just come through. Yeah, we've done the BBC. So I would suggest that a deal is still on the table. But I think Zelensky's going to have to do an awful lot of rimming to get people to agree to anything. And the price has just shot up. Shot up, not shut up. It's the northern flattening me vowels. It's shot up, so it's perception versus reality. So you're being fed nonsense. You are being fed nonsense. So the newspapers today, any newspaper is taking money from the government. Well, it might not be ours, it could be any government. So journalists, don't trust them with a fucking barge pole. I've told you before, the only thing that you can believe on any newspaper is the price on the front. Now look at this filthy rag. Look at this piece of shit. I've told you, I wouldn't wipe my arse with this. Why? Can you not see what I'm holding up? And it says, hang on, I better read that. Oh, it's around the wrong way. Bastards, fucking YouTube. So, the headline says, Ghislaine Maxwell to ask pal Trump for a pardon. So I read the article. It says no such thing in the article. They're trying to blacken his name. They're trying to tie Trump to Epstein. We'll get back to Zelensky in a minute. Ghislaine Maxwell to ask pal Trump for a pardon. That's never going to happen in a month of Sundays. He's not going to pardon her. He's not even her mate. He knows her. Obviously, he's met her. But he met Sir Keir Starmer twice before. And he just mucked about with Starmer. It's just foul. What we get in our morning papers is abhorrent. It's foul. It's journalists that couldn't lie straight in bed. And somebody somewhere within the Sunday Mirror said, here, make a story fit with Ghislaine Maxwell to ask pal Trump for a pardon. It's not going to happen. It's not. It's made up shit. But it made the front page. And then we've got your back. Prime Minister offers full support after White House row. We've got your back. I'm telling you, this is all he's being told by the Europeans. Fucking hell, Vladimir, what you done, man? What do you mean? What have I done? I've done nothing. I just, I had a little sniff and I had a couple of pints of Stella and then I just wanted to go fighting. So they've had a meeting today and they've gone on to Vladimir and gone, oi, rectify that, you tart. Get on to Trump and tell him you're sorry. Tell him you'll do whatever he wants you to do to rectify things, but just don't say it while you've got your head down and your arse up. You might want to park his bike. So the usual suspects will be clearing money out of Ukraine. And I'm telling you, sure as eggs are eggs. And I'm not psychic. I don't need to be. You can see right through this bullshit. This has come out of WEF. And they've panicked. Because if Putin just presses one button, that's Europe eviscerated. It won't affect America unless they have terrorist attacks on their own soils. And I don't wish that on anyone. But the Mexicans are not happy with Donald. So you've got you've just got shit flying. That's all it is. And if Putin gets a bit brassed off, because he wants the gas and the oil, he's not interested in squeamish little clowns, little people, intellectual pygmies, because they're all cockeyed, honestly. They're like, do you know the word gonk? They're gonks. And gonks in the northeast were little furry, ineffectual things that just sit there looking pretty. They're of no use whatsoever. None. They just sit there looking pretty. So Starmer and Zelensky and Macron are all gonks. They sit there as figureheads. They look pretty, but they do absolutely bugger all. Including Russell Brand. Let's just very quickly mention that old tart. So, as I said at the beginning, Russell Brand has moved to Florida. Now, I've seen him at Mar-a-Lago with RFK Jr. and various others, and I was just thinking, hang on, what's young Russell doing there? He's a man of God. Well, I'll tell you this, Russell, just a bit of advice from, well, he's not the lad upstairs, so you know you've been baptised. You haven't been baptised, you've just been dunked in some water by your mates. You need a man of the cloth, not touching cloth either, a man of the cloth that will say some appropriate words and then will dunk you in the water, and it's got to be approved water, not in some dirty, filthy River Thames shit. It's got to be done by a man of the cloth. But I want it just you in your white fronts, your white fronts. What were you thinking? What were you on, Russell? Well, he's buggered off out of the country. He reckons he's a man of God. Man of God, my hairy backside. God is not some silver-haired, and I told you this the other night, he's not some silver-haired bloke like with a big beard and a halo and wings and playing a harp. No, he's you. It's not even a he. It is simply consciousness. It is the ineffable experiencing consciousness. And Russell knows what I'm talking about. But he's in Florida. What does he care? Somebody's suing him. Somebody's suing him. Let's see if does this go the right way around? No. Let's wait till I get this up on me. If it goes back to front. Oh, feck, back to front. So it says Brandon sex abuse lawsuit. Claimant chasing him for damages. First time actor's been sued in the UK. And he's moved to Florida. Wonder why that is. So let's just have a kind of take a 30,000 foot view of this whole thing. You can look at the Labour front bench and you can see Starmer. He's willing, and he says that he will defend Ukraine's borders. But he won't stop the dinghy divers coming into ours, will he? He'll protect Ukraine's borders, but he won't protect ours. Another 600 visitors today. 600 crossed the channel today. Oi, oi, oi. So if you look at Trump, we'll kind of round some of this off. I haven't calmed down by any stretch of the imagination. So the X posts that you see Trump posting, well, it's not him. It's somebody else that he verbally passes to that person. They type it up, spell check it, poof, post it. Typed by somebody else. So he can hold a spoken press conference for hours and hours and hours. He doesn't need a teleprompter because the teleprompter would slow him down. He's got it in here. He's a genius. He's a genius. And the other reason why the politicians in America and worldwide are really brassed off with the Donald. Doge has found $62 billion missing. They can't account for 62 billion. Now, America's got 35, 36 trillion in debt. They can't account for 62 billion of it. And they couldn't necessarily trade their way out of that debt. That's what I was going to tell you about earlier. So I told you a couple of things. One, get an allotment. Or if you've got a garden, start growing your own. I mean, we could have a little community here. Look, I haven't got a clue. I haven't. But I've got... I'll get my dibber out and I'll put holes in the ground so long as the ground's soft enough. And I'm happy to show you my mistakes. But I know what will benefit my family, me, and all my community, because you always grow too much and you'll give it away to other folk. But having a way to produce your own food, dig for victory, is imperative now. You can't rely on these snake oil sellers talking on the telly and telling you, oh yes, don't worry, we've got Zelensky's back. I'm sure you do. Bend the fucker over. Oh, did I say that out loud? That's me. Couldn't read you a script, but can engage a room off the cuff. Nicholas, you need to be careful about that, man. Not when one off the cuff will get you arrested. Starmer might want one of my cucumbers. Just make it a big one, Alan. Could be a size queen. So firstly, find a way to produce what goes on your table at dinner. The other is crypto. And I told you that when Trump was going to get into power. Now, I am not giving you financial advice. I am merely suggesting that you do your research. And if you decide to do that, well, then if you look at the Ripple coinage, XLM, XRP, HBAR, Ethereum, there's one of the coins gone up 60% today. Friend told me. And the friend said that the reason why, I think it was Ethereum, had gone down so much, because everybody was panicking, thinking, oh, we've all got this wrong, was because somebody, North Korea, I think, had accessed one of the exchanges, and $1 billion worth of stuff had gone missing. So it's all going to go over to electronic coinage, crypto for short. But the Donald, before March, there's meetings on either March the 4th or March the 11th off the top of my head. They are going to put regulations in place so that people can't thieve other people's electronic coinage, crypto. So they're going to have safety measures in place. Once those safety measures are in place, off it goes to the moon. And it might not be your generation or my generation, but these kids that are coming up, they're in the teenage years or the 20-somethings, all they do is they live their life through their phone. They live their life through apps. And these are the kids that are super, super sharp. The governments will try and make sure that they can't make any money somehow. But these kids are super sharp. They're going to be multimillionaires through all of this. And the Donald Trump has said he will make America and American coinage, the ISO coins within crypto, he will make America great again. Trump's always been a fan. Kaz says, Adrian, I wonder if when the Donald is signing executive orders, there is always someone at his side telling him what he is signing. Oh, I completely agree with you, Kaz. I completely agree with you. Because what he does is, he says, what am I signing? And somebody will step forward and go, well, Mr. President, you're signing this particular executive order. And he said, okay, tell me a little bit about that. So they tell the press a little bit about that executive order. All the Donald has to do is just sign it. Now, maybe he's getting older. He's in his mid-70s now, late 70s. So he's a bit of an old boy. So maybe he's just a bit tired, doesn't want to have to do that. But he literally is like the Duracell bunny. Gets up, 4 or 5 hours sleep, poof, off he goes again, all day, doesn't tire, keeps going, poof, sleep. But you're the president. Why do you need to tell anybody? Get all the people to do the work for you. But if, as Kaz987 has said, these executive orders, is it adult literacy? I mean, can you imagine if the Donald came out and said, look, I struggle sometimes? Can you imagine the confidence that would give other people around the globe that struggle? And look, I've met it day in, day out with people. The Bovril, researching crypto, but just who do you trust? Because of the way that, I'll get back to the adult literacy in a second. The Bovril, the way that YouTube works, I can't give you any financial advice. In case anything goes wrong, or they may think that I'm a scammer. You know me, I'm straight up and down. But I'm sure I can think of a way of helping. It is quite simple, but if you think, oh, bloody hell, crypto, what do I do? I mean, I was offered Bitcoin 20 years ago, maybe? Yeah, about 20 years ago. And it was down at £1,200 per coin. At one point, it was £110,000 per coin. So if I'd bought like a couple of coins and just hung onto them, the top of the market, I would have made profit of nearly 350 grand. Now, I'm not saying that so that you think, oh, I'll make loads of money. It's a bit like, I don't gamble. I do not gamble. Because as I've said before, I've had my fingers burnt when, all right, it might have been a couple of quid, but to me it was a king's ransom. I had my fingers burnt and I decided never to do it again. So I will not gamble at all. But the Euro Bovril, it is there. But it's just, yeah, who do you trust? It's the exchanges. What most people do, from what I'm told, is that they buy the crypto in the exchanges and just leave it in the exchanges, and that's what gets attacked. But you need either cold storage or hard storage or something, but you need to get them out of the exchanges into something that is safe so that nobody can access either your exchange or your computer. And that will become clearer. I think Bitcoin is going to be used as like a gold reserve. So you'll be able to borrow against that gold reserve. I think XRP, XLM, and HBAR, because they're owned by the one company, Ripple, and they're going to be used by... so they're suggesting that XRP is going to be used as digital currency for the institutions to use, to trade between themselves. So XRP will be for the institutions, and XLM will be, because you're going to have to need a way of buying electronically. So, okay, we've got kind of credit cards that are electronic, but you're going to need the ability to buy from, I don't know, say Tesco's or Sainsbury's or Waitrose, or you go to a local coffee shop and you want to buy a coffee for £2.90 or £3. You're going to have some XLM. So that will be used for the high street. And HBAR is just another function of another coin, belongs to the same company, Ripple. And I think Ripple is part of the regulatory committee that they are looking at how they're going to make sure that nobody can nick a load of electronic or crypto. Andrew Crisp says cash is king. But in time, Andrew, they're going to do away with cash. Because the paper fiat currency is just a promise. It's just a promise to pay the bearer of. It's a human construct, money, fiat currency, because they'll just do away with it. And governments may turn around and say, well, right, if you've got £5 in your bank account, then we'll give you £5 of this particular crypto, which will be the equivalent value. Just chuck your paper money away. What will be king, Andrew, is gold. Because all the governments are going to keep a gold reserve. And if you can get physical gold, that's going to be beyond value. So let's get back to adult literacy, as I was mentioning. If the Donald does struggle at the moment, don't wear glasses or anything, so he might not be able to read that well. And look, if you look at Sir Keir Starmer, look at his glasses. I mean, you can see from there that my glasses work for my eyesight. But if you look at Sir Keir Starmer's glasses, it's plain glass. What is he doing? Is he trying to fool us into thinking he's intelligent? They're clear glass. Have a look, especially PMQs on a Wednesday. But adult literacy and the Donald, if that rumour is circulating, and maybe there is some credence to that rumour, then imagine the Donald coming out going, look, I'm a multi-billionaire. Proof, if anybody needs it, that I wasn't clever at reading, but I can retain it here. And people that struggle with adult literacy, whether it's reading and or writing, they have to have an insane memory to remember things in case somebody questions them. And like Donald did with Starmer and reading the letter out, he just got somebody to read it out for him. Asta, clear Starmer. Brilliant. Best gag of the night. when the Donald's coming across, he's been invited by the king, and the king can't turn around and go, lads, man, I've sent him the letter, I've signed it and everything. It's on headed notepaper. It's on the palace notepaper. The king, me, King Charles, the week. I've got to invite him now. Where can I send him? Balmoral. Really? He's not going to like that. He's been to Buckingham Palace. Where else can I send him? Windsor. Oh, no. Do we want him Windsor? I mean, the Queen loved him. He loved the Queen. Should we invite him to Windsor? It's a state occasion. But there's no automatic address of one or both Houses of Parliament or at Westminster Hall. Now, there's Sniffy. He's already been into Westminster Hall. Hang on, what day is it? Might have been today. He's given an address at Westminster. He's already done that before, so it's not a first. So it's a state visit to, or will be, a state visit to two separate UK monarchs. He's had an official state visit for Queen Elizabeth II, and then he's having another state visit for King Charles the Week. It's the first visit by an incumbent president to the UK. That was Woodrow Wilson in 1918. So Starmer said, we were already one of the biggest spenders in NATO. Not 75% of their budget that comes from America. And he said, and I quote, we're all in. Bless you. Who decides that then? Lord Ali or your missus? We're all in and will shoulder more of the burden. Try telling that to the families of the old uns who've perished this winter in the cold. Try saying that to the waspy women, where Sir Keir Starmer and others in the Labour cabinet said that they would support the waspy women. Try telling them that you're willing to protect Ukraine's borders and shoulder more of the burden when people in this sceptred isle can go fly. And you've got all of these people coming into these borders who get free phones, free hotels, free spending money, free everything, to the tune of billions and billions and billions of pounds. And what? They're going to shoulder more of the burden for Ukraine. Had away and shite. I'm determined, and I'm quoting here, I'm determined to deliver for the working people of Britain and America. Oh, so that'll be taxes up in April then? At Black Hole Rachel's next economy busting. He's a pathological liar, in my view. I mean, I don't know whether he believes actually what he's saying. He says, we win and we get things done. But only if you live in a fucking foreign country, or you're a foreigner coming into this country. Everybody that's been here, that's paid into the system, can go and had away and shite, man. This man's a lunatic. He's evil and he's a lunatic. And he actually believes what he's saying to the TV camera. Especially when he's sitting next to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Oh, yes, we have the best free speech. I love my free speech in my country. What? Who said that? Was it David Lammy? No, it wasn't. He didn't dare say anything. He was shitting himself. I mean, if you look at body language, Starmer was sitting next to Donald Trump, but his legs were crossed away. I mean, it's kind of, you read a woman's body language, you'd be able to tell whether she's into you or not. And you can tell that Starmer wasn't comfortable because his legs were crossed away from from Trump, because he was shitting himself. He didn't know what Starmer was going to say or do. Trump was going to do or say. I've been going 2 hours now until I'm tiring. So Trump was man-spreading. Starmer had his legs crossed like a girl. Like a girl. What kind of a bloke crosses his legs? One with no bollocks. Because you ask any man, you can't sit with your legs crossed. Jesus, crush nuts. Unless, of course, they're hung like a wasp. So, Trump versus Zelensky. Zelensky turned up not in a suit. So he's already put Donald Trump's backs up because they know it's just all a charade. They know it's just for the cameras. They know it's a money laundering exercise, and they know which politicians have made shit tons of money because little Zelensky's got his uniform on. Little Zelensky, he's taken the part, and his part is a war president. So unlike Winston Churchill, who wore like a suit thing, boiler suit thing, better than fatigues in green, he was in a costume. Trump and Vance knew that he was in a costume and knew that it was a setup. And Zelensky met the Democrats first for breakfast on Friday. So as I've asked you before, what was he on? Strong coffee. And was he running a cold? I mean, I always, I know I've had a bad cough for a while. And there's a longer story about the hospital visit, which I'll tell you during the week. But he's always... I mean, I know it's winter and there's all these bugs going around, but was he running a cold? Tell you this as well. I think J.D. Vance is going to be the next president. I do wish Donald Trump a long life, and I do wish him good health, because the evil in this world is dead set against him. I mean, maybe the newspapers will tomorrow come up with a completely different story, that Zelensky wasn't actually bullied and everybody's kissed and made up, and now it's 750 billion. There's a new deal on the table. It's not the deal that was there on Friday. But J.D. Vance is the next president. Donald knows. He's going to make the best he can of this particular term. Whether he makes full term and or a third term, they could change the constitution. But you could see that Vance was protecting Trump. Trump is always the deal maker. That's his DNA. That's his natural. So when Zelensky comes back, I'll reiterate this. Tail between his legs. He's going to be begging for the deal. Donald! Hey, Zelensky, sniffy, fuck off. So I believe that Starmer is extremely dangerous, because if you think about it, he was in the Oval Office on Thursday. He was siding with Trump. Oh, yes, free speech. Yes, me. Yes. And oh, yes, I agree about my wife. Yes, lovely. Which one? So Starmer's dangerous because he's got one foot in America trying to appease Trump, and he's got his other foot in Europe trying to appease Ursula von der Leyen, bitch. Technical term. So why is Zelensky meeting Charles the Weak? As Charlie had a word with, oh, Donald, man, what you done? What do you mean, Your Royal Highness? Well, you're supposed to agree 500 bill. What you done, man? Oh, don't worry about that, Your Royal Highness. I'll take care of the deal. That little fecker will come back with his tail between his legs. Don't worry, it's going to cost them more. Well, not him, the American taxpayer. So Putin, and remember that if Zelensky really brasses off the Donald, who else does he brass off? Elon Musk. And what can Elon Musk do? Switch off Starlink, so that Ukraine would have no internet connection, would have no tech in Ukraine. Can't fire bombs and missiles without your tech, mate. And you can't do it without any internet. Oh, hello, Kia. Can I send you a selfie? Just me. Want to see my film? So there'll be no comms whatsoever. Matthew Whedon, he's a backstabber. Look, if you know the gag, you make the gag up. I'm not saying it here because it will get me in trouble. USA out of who? NATO, UN. I know, Des. They've saved themselves a fortune. And everybody else is running around. Panic! Panic! Infamy! Infamy! They've all got it infamy. Oh, shut up, Vladimir, man. Sit down. Oh, you are. So the Americans will just turn the kill switch. They'll just kill everything, as in, metaphorically, of course, the tech, the internet. And Putin wants peace. I've told you this before. One, the Chinese Communist Party always want peace. They want stability so that they can keep making shit tons of money. So the Chinese Communist Party do not want World War III. And in BRICS, the Russians are on the side of the Chinese Communist Party because they're communists. So Putin wants peace. He's been asking for peace, and I've been reporting on this channel for over 6 months that these people want peace. But they also want the gas and the oil as part of the deal. So will America, and at which point will America, admit to running the dozens of bioweapon labs that the Americans have funded in Ukraine? I've already told you that. Keep it in your back pocket. Watch the news, because they're fucking shit. Mainstream media won't report that because they daren't. They haven't got the constitution or the backbone. But somebody at some point will pull the funding for the advertising, which means that the newspapers are going to go under. The only thing that's keeping them going is funding from US aid. But if Starmer kicks off, and this is why the Europeans, I think, were shitting themselves, technical term, Trump can turn off Trident at any time, literally at any time. So if I was the deal maker, I'd be saying to Sakia, here, Keir, fuck about with me, Bonnie lad. I'm going to turn Trident off. You know what that means, don't you? You've got no nuclear deterrent. And what does that mean? Well, my mate Vladimir Putin, you know, President Putin of Russia, Russia, will nuke the fuck out of you. So, do as you're told, Bonnie lad. I'm the Donald, remember? So we would end up with no nuclear deterrent. We would be sitting ducks for Russia. I think I'm going to call this particular live that. To those that are still in the body of the Kirk, thank you for your indulgence tonight. I was really struggling this afternoon. But in essence, I just needed to get that. Thank you, Rich. Love the way you hit the ground running tonight, Adrian. Fucking brilliant. Thank you, Rich. It's made a lot of difference tonight, because when you're just trying to absorb all this shit and lies and subterfuge that's in the mainstream media, every now and again it just gets too much. So I just needed to come on here and just get it gone. And it's the truth. It is the truth. All of it. And you will see by me and as Nicholas says, hit the likes on the way out, lads and lasses. Yes, if you could, please. We have to, I will just say this in sort of rounding everything up. We have to stay as a community. We have to make sure that nobody gets us. We have to make sure that we are the awake. We are the ones that know what is going on. We are the ones that can identify and protect the others when they can't. It's like being a parent. And I don't mean this in a condescending way at all. But parents are meant to look after their kids and protect the kids from themselves. So we have a lot of people that are not awake yet. These people took the jibber jabbers, were doing what they thought was best by their community, by their family, by themselves. But we have to make sure that this evil never wins, ever. Because this is a beautiful place. Life is wonderful. Life is a song worth singing, as someone once said. And so long as we know we've got each other, and the reason why I love the chat is because your truth invariably is truth. And you bring it here and we can discuss it. We can work it out. We know that Starmer's evil. We know Zelensky's evil. He's just after the Benjamins. We know Macron is just a weird Frenchman with a French wife. So when I was at school, do you know, kind of without being ungallant, when I was at school, in my infant school, I read a book which was, you know, doggy style, like the position. It was always called the French position. And I could never understand that. I mean, this is back in the 60s. I could never understand, why is it called the French position? I look at Emile. So, in the field, Adrian's rage appears to have gotten rid of his cough. Happy days. Yeah, my bollocks dropped. So, I've been ungallant and potty mouthed, but I do believe that the truths that I told you tonight, some of the stuff. So Thursday, Starmer, White House, newspapers, this country. Oh, it was a triumph. And I was like looking at the newspapers, saying what the actual, that wasn't a triumph. He had the piss taken out of him by Trump and JD Vance. And I've given you 3 examples. There are more if you want, but there was 3 examples where Starmer absolutely had it taken out of him, or rather had it put up him. Pays your money, takes your choice. So the next live's going to be, where are we? What's today? Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. Thank you for your likes so far this evening. Thank you for your support and your subscriptions. Please, 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 please check, because I've lost over 40 subscriptions in the last week or so. And I know it's not people switching off from the channel. I know it will be YouTube unsubscribing people, because they try to keep you there. Work. Because we're all cash cows. We all make money, and Google, YouTube make money from off our backs. So please make sure that you like the lives, you're subscribed to the channel, and whatever you do, wherever you go, please stay safe and be well, and don't forget the Battenberg. Adrian Allen's Theatre of the Mind, where we're more than just the headlines. Be well. See you Wednesday, 8 o'clock.